How's it going, guys? Let's take a look at how I built my internal canister filter for my 29-gallon breeder. I got my inspiration for this project from the King of DIY's channel. He's been on YouTube for a while. He's really good. If you haven't seen him, you should definitely check him out. I went up to Home Depot, got myself a 2-inch piece of PVC pipe. I was gonna get black ABS pipe, but for some reason, Home Depot didn't have that. All you need to cut the pipe is a regular old handsaw. Just make sure you measure twice and cut once. To drill my holes, I used a step drill bit. These are pretty handy. They make it where you can drill any size you need up to the highest diameter on the top of the bit. To start with, I drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom of the canister for water flow, in addition to drilling 2 holes on either side of it for screws to hold the cap on while there's weight inside. And I also made a mark on the other side that matches up on the cap so I can see where that screw hole is. For the top of the canister, all they do is drill a hole to fit the inlet of the power head the proper size so it fit nice and snug without wobbling around. For the bottom of the canister, I took a cap and I drilled a bunch of holes to the bottom of it for flow, and then I drilled 2 holes to the sides for screws in addition to the mark that matches up on the canister so I can position it properly. And then I also cut a piece of PVC and cut holes for flow underneath the filter, and then I super glued that piece on. These are the first stage of my filtration. I got one sponge that has larger pores for larger particulates, and then a second sponge that has finer pores for the finer particles. They're cut to just above the size of the inside of the pipe so they fit in snugly but don't slip out or smush down. I cut these sponges out of some old sponges from an outdoor pond filter. Worked out perfectly fine. The power head I used is rated for 30 to 50 gallons. It was pretty cheap, $11 at Petco. It has a inlet tube for aeration. You just connect it to the top of the power head, and the flow creates a vacuum that sucks air through the tube from the surface of the water and creates bubbles that shoot out with the flow. The top of the air tube has a little nozzle that you can twist to increase or decrease the amount of flow and aeration to the water. Pretty simple mechanism, but it works well. Here's a quick look at the box. It's made by Aquarium. I think it's a little bit too powerful for a 30-gallon tank. You might want to use something to direct the flow so it doesn't blow your fish away. I'm gonna DIY something so I can direct it up to the top of the water so it's not too powerful for my tank. First, I'll just stuff the sponges in the bottom of the canister. Goes in pretty easily because I cut it just right. Pop the end cap on there, match it up, and then pop your screws in. I made it where the end cap slides off and on pretty easy by sanding the bottom of the pipe a little bit. I did this so it's a lot easier to take off when it's time to clean it. I just added a couple screws to hold it on there so it doesn't pop off due to the weight of the biomedia when I lift it out of the tank. Now you can begin to see what the bottom of the canister will look like. I think it looks pretty cool and I think it will work really good. I designed it so it'll stand up off the substrate. From here you can put whatever biological media you're going to put in there, and then put your top cap on and then put your power head on. You're good to go. This power head has a strainer on the bottom of it so it doesn't suck up anything into the motor. Now you can kind of see what the finished product's going to look like sitting in the tank. It holds together really well actually, and I'm kind of impressed with how it turned out. I think it'll work really well. I think it looks kind of cool on the bottom, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it does. It's kind of turned out to be a pretty nice little canister. I think it looks pretty cool. That's from this angle. It kind of looks like a machine gun or something, like Gatling gun. One other thing you can do, this is optional, but you could get a little tray for a plant, and you could set it inside that on the bottom of your tank to further separate it from the substrate so it's not sucking up anything from the soil. I have decided to use lava rock as my choice biomedia. It's cheap, easy to use, just gotta clean it up real nice so it doesn't dirty your water or anything, and it should work pretty much as good or better than ceramic. I discovered this cheap option for a biomedia from the King of DIY once again. You guys should definitely go check out his channel. Another bit of filtration you could add just before the biomedia is a little bit of filter floss. It'll really polish your water, but I wouldn't leave that in long term because it'll clog up super quick and will slow down your filtration. Here's here running the tank. It's pretty powerful for a 30-gallon tank, so I had to make this flow adapter thing on the top. That's a temporary thing. I'll probably make a better one later on for it, but it definitely filtrates water really well and doesn't blow my fish around with this flow adapter. Snails seem to really like it. It may appear that the fish are hiding in this video, but I actually just turned the light on. It's been running and with the lights off for a few hours, and yeah, they're sleeping. So yeah, as you can see, it breaks surface tension really well, and it works pretty good. I really like it, like how it turned out. Snails are definitely digging it, that's for sure. Alright guys, if you like what you've seen here, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to.